Welcome to Transitional Housing Maximize Spotlight. I am excited to be able to talk about this topic. I'm really sad to talk about it as well, only because it's just sad that we are here at this place right now. But it's good to be able to talk in this community about this stuff, because here in Transitional Housing Maximize Spotlight, we pick those topics that are important to you, that's happening real time in our world. And all of you probably heard about Job Corps. So we're going to be talking about the Job Corps closure, and we're going to talk about how we bridge the gap for our youth, because that is so important. So for those of you who truly are all in for our youth, go ahead and put some chats in there just saying, I'm all in. This is my niche. This is one I've identified, because if this is your niche, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of at this time, just because of what's happening. And if you don't know your niche yet, I want you to be thinking about, possibly could this be what I'm passionate about? Now, those of you who participated in my 5-day challenge, we know we just don't randomly jump from thing to thing. We really want to make sure we have a heart for this work. But this here is near and dear to my heart, working with this particular population. And let me go ahead and talk about why. See, many of you don't know that Job Corps has actually been around for decades. We're talking about over 6 decades. This program has been in place since President Johnson put it in place because he wanted to tackle the war on poverty. So clearly, this has been going on for a very long time. So the mission of this Job Corps is to be able to provide free education as well as vocational training for our youth who really want to escape from poverty. So that was why it was created, and who it was designed for were youth between the ages of 16 to 24, those who come from a low income background, and they wanted to target them, especially if they were facing homelessness. They might have been in the foster care system. They might be justice involved youth. And clearly, if there were some educational gaps, that was why it was created and who it was created for. So now here we are. We now know that they've closed Job Corps across the country, and it now has left these individuals with really no place to go. Now, think about it. These are individuals who are motivated, because to sign up for a program and say they want to do something more, they came in here with a desire to do and learn something amazing. But now, because of the closures, they don't have housing. They don't have mentorship. They don't have stability. They don't even have a sense of belonging. That has been stripped from them. And to have no direction, this is clearly where we sit today. And now what we need to determine as purpose-driven leaders, how can we bridge that gap from closure into now looking at how we can help this population grow? So now that we've set the stage and you understand that this has happened, the number of children that this has impacted is significant. 4,500 youth, that's how many right now are at risk of homelessness, all because this funding is gone. And we also have the staff that are impacted in every state, not knowing what's going to happen to them. And this is not just in my state. It's happening in St. Louis, Missouri today. But we're talking about across this country, this is happening. If you know you have a Job Corps in your area, I want you to go ahead and type it in the chat for me. Type your city. Let me know if you know for a fact that you have Job Corps in your city, and type it in the chat, because clearly this is happening right now as we speak. And these individuals are in need of some guidance. So if you know it is happening in your city, like I'm exploring possibilities now here in St. Louis, just because it is clearly it has become one of my areas that I'm working on going forward. And when I can create something that's going to be amazing, I'm definitely going to do that. So St. Louis is definitely on the list, and there's so many others that are also impacted. So we're talking more than just simply about numbers. Like, I know that sounded like a lot to hear that many people impacted, but that's not just it. We're talking about real people that have real lives. These individuals had a life before this happened. They were looking forward to doing and exploring, and now they have nothing. So we're talking about real people. And this actually made me think about an instance where this actually happened to somebody near and dear to my heart. Imagine what it would feel like to have everything that you had just stripped from you overnight. Like, the thought of that just breaks my heart when I think of this guy who, a few years ago, David is amazing. He's still amazing today. He was that person. He was literally in a program toward training him to work in a professional setting. He had learned so many amazing skill sets. His future was bright as far as what he wanted to experience. He felt like he belonged. Like, not only did he come from lived experience, but then he was impacting lives in such a tremendous way. And he finally felt that he was stable, finally felt that he was in position to really do some great things. And literally overnight, his entire livelihood, his program, everything was stripped from him. And not only was it stripped from him, but he was experiencing homelessness again. He was unhoused. And I'll just share, he also was an individual that was in recovery. So imagine what that does to an individual that's young, that's ready to just take on the world and to have that taken, and how they would feel. These individuals, that's what they're feeling right now. They're feeling abandoned. They feel like nobody loves them, nobody cares about them. What is it that they are going to do? These are real people that are impacted. That happened to David, and that happened to these individuals that were in Job Corps literally a few days ago, and now today they are not. So we must understand that when we're working with this population, there is a hidden cost, because you have to understand that when they get to this place where they're housing, like the things that they lose, those are the things you don't see. Like right now, we see what's on the news. We see them packing their belongings, putting them in a vehicle, signing paperwork. That's what I've been seeing a lot on the news. And there's so much more that they lost. And that's what we need to understand, is what they actually lost through this process. So as you think about what these individuals lost, I want you to just think of one word that you can put in the chat of what they lost. These are the hidden costs. What hidden costs can you think of that these individuals lost when they lost their housing? Support. Yep, they lost that. Mentorship. Yep, they lost that. As you think about those things and put them in the chat, this is real stuff that individuals lost track of. And those are the hidden costs that they lost through that process. Resources, guidance, community critical, dream, exactly, sense of identity. Yes, those are the things they lost. Those are the hidden costs that they don't talk about. Dignity, yes. Those are the things that these individuals lost. So once you're able to identify the things that these individuals lost through this process, and I'm spending time talking about this because those of you who are thinking about getting into this work, those are things you have to help them get into a place of where we can restore them, because they lost all of this. Encouragement, yes, lost encouragement, hope. These are things they lost. So now that you understand the things that they've lost, the thing I need you to understand is now you stepping into this place and wanting to provide them something that is not a temporary fix. See, transitional housing is not a temporary fix. And those who, I'm not against people who want to get into the space and provide housing, because guess what? They need housing 100%, but they need more than a temporary fix. They need more than just simply housing. They need to literally be reignited and they need a launch pad to get them back into a position where there is possibility again. See, what we provide in transitional housing is more than housing. We provide them an opportunity to launch into something better than where they came. So imagine these individuals who are participating in Job Corps, a structured program that now has been stripped from them. And here you come with your hopes and dreams that you can provide them. That's why this is so critical. Those of you thinking about coming into this space right now, because it can't just be about the money. It can't just be about, oh, I'm going to house all these people and I'm going to get all, it can't be about that, because they can't afford another fail. These individuals cannot afford another loss, another trauma that's going to impact them to where they're not successful. So those of you thinking about transitional housing and getting into this space, you need to understand that whatever you create for them is creating confidence within them again. It's creating healing where they've been traumatized. It's helping them identify what their purpose is. You are going to be showing them you do matter. Job Corps and administration did not think they mattered. And that's why the programming is now gone. So when you step in and take it very seriously, you're stepping in to show them that they matter. Yes, they matter. Yes, they belong. So when you create this transitional housing space for them to be in, that should be your primary messaging when you work with them. So those are the type of things I need you thinking about if this is where you see yourself going. If it's already your niche, think about those things, because that's what your programming needs to consist of, especially now, because everything has been taken from them already. So now that you understand your positioning in this, and you need to understand why this matters to us, because I already said we are more than a building. We are more than a bed. We are more than group homes. We're more than any of those things. We are about creating something that's going to change their lives. So as you get into this space and you create legacy for what you're going to do in this space, remember this legacy you create is all about them. So if legacy is important to you versus a lifestyle, now don't get me wrong, y'all are going to hear me say this a lot. Lifestyle is wonderful. I thank God every day for the lifestyle that I do, that provides a lifestyle that me and my family love to enjoy. But legacy is what this is all about, creating something that's going to change someone's life. And then I can leave a legacy behind that my family can continue on even after I'm gone. That's what we're talking about. So if legacy is important to you and this is resonating with you, go ahead and let me know by typing legacy in the chat. Those are the type of things that I need you thinking about. Now, these 5 key mindset shifts are the things that I need you thinking about. Okay. And I'm going to walk you through each one. I actually thought it was going to click, but it is what it is. I want to talk about these key mindset shifts that you must go through in order to do this work. Because what people seem to miss sometimes is just the thought that there are things that you already think that limits your thinking. And so I'm here to help shift you into a different mindset as it relates to working. And if you're deciding to go into this space, what you must do. See, in the first one, it says, identify what you already have. Many people have the mindset that, oh, well, I can't do this. I'm missing all of this stuff. I don't have this and I don't have that. Don't think about what you don't have. Think about what you do have. What do you currently have right now? Not what's missing, because what you have is more than what they have. If you know you got a bed, You got a program you started. You can offer some life experience to them because you've gone through some of this stuff. Because that's typically why people get into this work, because they've had a lived experience that they want to share with somebody else to help them overcome. That right there is worth its weight in gold for you to be able to bring something to somebody. So you need to start thinking about, don't think about what you don't have. Think about what you have and think about where you can go with that. See, too often we delay moving forward because we think we need more funding or approval. No, you don't. You don't need more of that. You just need to step forward. And many of us have something powerful that we can offer this particular population that they don't currently have right now. And once you can shift your way of seeing that whatever you have right now can be a launch pad for into this space versus a limitation. So when you recognize the assets that you already have, you shift from scarcity into impact. So shifting your mindset from scarcity to impact, evaluate what you already have. That's what you need to do first. Then you want to be able to connect with the workforce centers and youth programs. See, many people who get into this space, they always feel like they need to go and compete with somebody else in the same space. You don't have to do that. You need to come and collaborate with other people who are serving that population. So once you start connecting with workforce centers that you can have them do the things that they do in youth programs, that's where your power comes. So you don't have to do this work alone. Workforce centers and youth development programs are already serving young people with job skills, coaching, training. Instead of you sitting out here trying to duplicate efforts and services, why don't you just connect with them, connect the dots there and form partnerships? You hear me all the time talking about how you can create an MOU with a nonprofit that's doing some of the similar work. That's where I need you. This mindset breaks isolation and creates a true ecosystem of support that wraps around youth holistically. So when you can think about connecting with them that way, you're not out here trying to recreate the wheel. You just simply do and create that collaboration. And now, as it relates to engaging with Job Corps staff and allies, oh my gosh, the resource within just them. Remember, they were impacted too. And because they were impacted, what a great opportunity to connect with them, engage with them. Don't sit out here and try to reinvent the wheel. You might find a great partner over there in someone who was serving that now doesn't have a job and now they want to do something great. Opportunity sitting right in front of you. So if you can honor existing relationships and institutional knowledge, that is still an institution that has a lot of knowledge. How many years did we say? Over 6 decades. Imagine that knowledge that you can now tap into. That's how you need to be thinking. And I want to stretch you a little bit. I want to stretch your thinking to even looking at those people who graduated from Job Corps. I would be, if this is your niche, I would be contacting people from Job Corps who are alumni, the staff, their community partners, those who already understand the needs and rhythms of this population as you're building your program. Those are the things that you need to be doing right now. So lean in and listen before you build. I want you focusing on the things that are there. Many of you who are listening to me right now, you don't have a program up and running right now. Perfect opportunity to start building, but you need to know these things and listen to the experts that have this knowledge that you can tap into. See, when you partner with those who already know what these youth have inside of them, that's going to create faster trust for you and with them, and you're going to avoid some of those costly trial and errors that happen when you start a program. Those are the type of things that you're going to have to do, and I want to stress the importance of you coming into the space with humility, because you don't know everything. You're new, but come into the space of, how can I be of help? What can we put together? Humble yourself to what they say and do. Why? Because they got the knowledge. You don't. Even if you think you got the knowledge, guess what? We're talking about 6 decades of knowledge, institutional knowledge that you can like hone in on and use. That is going to stretch you a long way. And it's about building on their foundation, not you coming in here and replacing it. So now that you have done that, now you want to talk about how you can assess how your housing can adapt to meet youth needs. Now, let me say this. When you, and this is for people who already have housing in place, and if you have it, I want you not being so rigid. You have to be flexible in what you have. And I'll give you an example in a little bit about what that potentially means further. But you have to understand, these young people are coming from systems like Job Corps with different needs. And there's specific things that they need to have, whether it's more tech access, trauma-informed care, peer spaces. Like, you need to be flexible with your rules. Like, you can't treat them the same way you would treat people in a recovery program, right? It's going to be completely different, but you need to learn to be flexible. So when I talk about shifting your mindset around this space, start shifting and thinking about another way of looking at this population, because you are going to have to be flexible. They're different. Remember how you were? How were you when you were 16 years old, 17, 18, all the way to 24? This 16 to 24-year-old group is unique. So you have to treat it in that way as you look at your housing. You can't treat it the same way with an outdated process that you were thinking about. You can't treat it the same way. You can't force a square peg in a circle hole. You can't do that with this population. You need to think about how your space can better serve them. Remember, those of you who participated in my 5-day challenge, because we don't get properties first, right? We create programs, because the program dictates the property. But if you're in that situation where you got the property, you don't have a program, now I'm asking you to be flexible. Don't be rigid and structured in a way that does not serve the population that you want to serve. And last but not least, as it relates to mindset, you need to create a warm, structured onboarding program that says you're welcome here. And I'm going to tell you that. That is one of the most important things when working in this population, because first impressions shape long-term trust. And youth are probably the toughest individuals to build trust with, especially if you're not used to working with them on a regular basis. So you have to understand, many of them experience rejection. They have inconsistency in their life. They even have been a part of Job Corps that might have been a little cold. And clearly they're, look what just happened. So when you bring them into your space, you need to make sure that you've got a process that takes them in mind first. Think about it like this. When you reach out and say hi to somebody, what do? You reach out and give them a handshake, right? Your program, your process that you create in onboarding is like that to them. Like the professional world, that's how we greet people. But this program, you are going to create this process of how you bring them in. That is critical. It's like that first handshake in a business deal. So you want to make sure that when you are thinking about this population, you cannot have the mindset of what you're used to about compliance and rules and this and that. That is going to make them leave you alone. They're not going to come to you. So you're going to have to shift the way you see them. You're going to have to infuse them with love, infuse them with feeling safe. From day one, you have to do that. So as you're moving in that space, that is why that's so important. You really have to build and set the tone with them day one, making them feel welcome, not just compliant. Because clearly nobody wants to come in the door talking about the rules the first day. Now, is it necessary? Absolutely necessary. But there's a way in which you do it. You don't do that like hitting them with that day one, because they're already going to think you're going to be a bad I don't use profanity, but they're going to think you just as somebody that they can't trust and somebody that, they don't want to deal with. And that's not what we want to create. So this is where I want you to pause. I want you to think about these 5 mindset shifts and think about which one is most important to you right now. As you're on this journey and you want to do this type of work, which one of these hits home for you? Like, what is your strongest shift? If you had to say, oh yeah, I got this one, I'm really good at that. That's what I want you to think about. Go ahead and put that in the chat if you can. If it's number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I'm curious which one of these is your strongest. So it's your strongest suit out of all 5 of these. Which is your strongest? Okay. Now I've got strengths in all. I'm just trying to get a good grip, a good idea of who's in the group. Okay, I've got some people that you feel like you got number 1. Okay, being able to identify what you already have. Okay, I see some assessing how your housing can adapt. That's number 4. All right. So now that you've thought about what your strong shifts are, because this will mean something in a minute, I want you to think about which of these is going to require some work for you. Like, as you think about shifting, which one's going to be work for you? And as you think about, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I definitely see those as well in myself. I think one of mine, when I look at number 4, I have the same one that you have, number 4, because I think, and I'm going to share, I don't know if it's in a slide, but if it's not, I'll share it briefly here. I have property right now. I'm evaluating what I'm going to do. I think I actually do have this, but that number 4 is toughest for me right now. That's the one I need to put some work into because I have a property here in St. Louis. I mean, the need is like touching my heart. And this property, we can house 20 individuals. And it's out in rural Troy, Missouri, but it's an opportunity. So I definitely see that is something that I would need to, because it used to be a residential care facility. So you could imagine wasn't catered to youth. So there's some things I have to be flexible on and thinking about how could I do that, also being in a rural area. So those are the type of things I'm forcing you to think about, especially if you're wanting to get into this space so that you can start shifting the way you think about that. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I need to work on shifting from scarcity to abundance mindset. Yes, because I'm telling you, those are the things that hold us back. So don't let it hold you back. Every little step counts, even if it's a little baby step, a little half step, but pushing past that, because they have this thing where if you don't take those steps going forward, you'll never take a step. You'll never take action. So definitely seeing what you have versus what you don't have, you should be able to find a way. And I'm going to press again a little further. Those of you who are in this space, you don't have anything developed yet, you want to work with youth. Think about who and you could partner with. We're going to talk some more about this, but I'm just going to say it now in case I forget to say it later. Think about who, especially if you have Job Corps closing in your area now, practice talking to them, like get out there and get some information that's going to help you, even if it's just going to help you create your program better. You might not have the ability right now. You're not ready to step out yet, but take a step forward because this is critical to you being able to serve this community, and you have to take those steps moving forward. So now that we have looked at those 5 mindset shifts, I want to just share when I got into this space. So, because I've been in transitional housing for a very long time, and I'm just going to be honest, when I got into it, I didn't get into it for the right reasons. I had good reasons, but I was looking at just the housing, and clearly it showed up in my business pretty rough. And I had to make a quick shift because that's not what I never want to just provide housing. But when we got into it, it was just for the housing, 14 years ago. And now, I didn't see the full benefits of building relationships. So as I look at it now, that's clearly the space I'm in right now, is how can I build relationships with this population that I want to serve, those who want to serve it, and really make a difference. Because when you can do that, you are truly changing people's lives. That's why I got into transitional housing, so that I could change people's lives. But when I first got into it, I wasn't on that. I saw property. You've heard Oasis. Now I forgot the name of it that fast. Oasis. Oh my gosh. Haven. Anyway, I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And I saw how many people I would be able to help. But I was just thinking about the housing. I didn't think about everything. And it was just all a hodgepodge. And I'm telling you, it was not pretty. So that's why I want to challenge you as you are getting into this space and you're wanting to do more. I want you thinking past the housing. I want you thinking to how you can really make a difference. So this is where the power of purpose comes in. So because transitional housing, as I always talk, this is not just something to do. You truly have to be called to want to make a difference in someone's life. And I want to stress that, especially as we're working with this youth and we're wanting to work with this population, I need you coming from that space. Because as you come from that space, there's power in that you're going to be embedding in these young individuals who really want an opportunity. So they are looking for someone who truly sees them. So I just want to implore upon those of you who are looking at this opportunity, because this is an opportunity right now, but it's not just an opportunity to serve you and what you want. It's an opportunity to serve those who you're going to serve. And we're going to talk about that impact as you move into purpose. So as you're thinking about the space that you're going to use for them, you are not doing just a bed, you are giving them a bridge. And I want to talk about what that bridge looks like as you bridge them into purpose. So as I think about what I'm creating, and those are in this, and I'll say this here that I'm going to share with you is not just for the youth, but amazing when you use it with the youth. Because what I want to create is a place where individuals who are in this age group can not only gain the knowledge that you're about to impart upon them, but you literally will show them how to change the world with what you're going to give them. And I call it the ripple effect, because imagine when you get a young person and you share knowledge with them that helps them, it's powerful. And I've talked about this addition, multiplication, exponential forever. But when you understand how this ripple effect works, you're actually not only changing their lives and giving them something that can feed them and nourish them and give them a purpose and help them identify with where they're going, but you then also show them how to pay it forward. And those of you who are with me in the VIP, like you are here with me to grow the vision of what I know can be done. And those who don't know, I've got a training program that I'm hoping as you start creating your programs and what you've got, what I've got, that we can build something amazing so we can create that ripple effect with these youth, so that not only are we helping change their lives, but we're helping them not only change the way that their particular generation looks for themselves, but you'll help and show them how to pay it forward. And the best way to do that is when you can have a program that you set up that then allows for them to be graduates of whatever it is that you're creating. They then pay it forward to somebody else, so that you are basically showing them how to do the very same thing that they receive from you for somebody else. Imagine and that's how God expects us to move. He doesn't want us focusing on just what we can add to what it is that we're doing. He wants us to learn how to multiply what he's given us. So those of you who are creating a program and you do this in partnership with me, I want to help you not only make your program amazing, but then show them how to exponentially impact others and impact their current generation and family as we know it. So that's what we're talking about. That's how we're talking about building and growing. And I'm excited about those of you who are on that with me. Now I'm going to go to the chat real quick. Let me see if there's another slide before I go to the chat. Oh, I'll come back to that. Let me go to the chat and just see. Okay. So let's see. How do you make the difference without holding hands? Okay. Yes. So I love your question, first of all, because what you don't want to do, because at the end of the day, you can't be a pacifier for people, right? You need to teach them how to be accountable for themselves and move into a space where they're growing. So, and I actually found myself in this place several years ago when my programming started, because I was constantly holding people's hands and I was like, ooh, and I'm telling you, that is so stressful. And then you're the bottleneck. You could have 15 people and you're holding everybody's hand and you're bottleneck because you're holding everyone's hand. So with programming set up well, because that's the best way to not hold someone's hand and not be a pacifier, is you create a program that can move forward without you. And those of you who are interested in working with me, like I'll walk you through how to create all that so that you aren't doing that. You literally are helping them move forward. And I'm learning even as I speak, because I'm gonna just tell you, you don't want to be an enabler. And I've been an enabler my whole life. I will raise my hand and say that, but I'm learning how to not do that. You give them what they need, you teach them and show them where it's at, and then you then find ways to simply acknowledge wins for people as a whole, because we are not here to hold anybody accountable. Now, and this is harder when you're dealing with youth because they've never had a taste of life, but we can show them how to do this in a way where you change some of their mindset. And as you change their mindset, because those are the limiting things that hold them back. So once you start breaking that up and getting them to reposition it, then they'll then start wanting to take control of whatever it is that you give them the tools they need to take control of that. So hopefully I answered that without going too deep, but that is definitely, you do not want to hold anyone's hand or be a pacifier. I love to offer a bridge and we'll seek to collaborate on opportunities. Okay. Oh, very good comments. I can't read all that, but I'll share that. I'll speak with you privately so we can explore some of that later. So now that we have talked about the impact of the ripple effect, because that's what I want to create. Great. Thanks for letting me know. So as you created the impact of this ripple, those of you who are interested in being in this space, that's what I want you creating for them, because in essence, your program will replace what they had before and be better. Because I think sometimes when you pilot something and try something out first and you find out what works, you can then scale and build that up versus having a broken system. And if I had to be honest, I'm not going to get into politics about why people are doing certain things at the administrative level, at the government level, related to, programs that impact Black and brown people. Like, I'm not going to get into that. But what I will say is there is a lot of excess happening, and the approach ain't always the best, but it's going to quickly get to some results. I believe this is why it's so important that we as leaders step up to then create something that will make a change happen, because there's a lot of excess happening in those programs that we can't keep doing. Like, we cannot keep doing. I'm all for Job Corps if Job Corps is creating the results it needs to create. And I'm just saying, I heard some of the reasons why they said they were ending it. I hate that it happened, but now we as leaders will step up and do what we can to be able to help going forward. So with that being said, I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek into the how, if you're interested in this particular area, because what I love, especially those who you're building programming, there's so much I can give you. I can't give it all in a free session. I can't. A lot of this stuff we can explore as we go into our VIP, but I'm telling you, these three areas, when you can have programming that focuses on these three things, you are going to have something that is going to be amazing. Because as I said before, these individuals want to feel welcome. You want to make them feel welcome to whatever it is that you're bringing. And when you can have them coming with dignity, not judging them, not making them feel shameful, none of that. You come from that space of a heart that loves them and wants to create something for them. That is half the battle. Because remember, that's what builds trust. When you can create a program that builds trust in our youth, and they understand that they can trust you, you can go a long way when you've built something with dignity. Also making sure that you have and you're addressing trauma in their lives. So when your space is trauma informed, you're not going after it in a space where it won't serve them, because they have to heal. You have to get them to a place of healing. And a lot of the things of what they think about themselves, because a lot of it's in our mind, how we see ourselves, you have to help them see those things and then provide a safe place for them to be and to be able to be comfortable. And you can do that in programming. And then that third one, like we talked about, partnership, you can't do this alone, ma'am, sir. You can't. You must engage others. Now, I'll just say, some people do try to do it by themselves, but they fail. So I want to teach you how to be successful in this space. And as I said, there's so many areas in here that I can't break down in this session. So if you want to know more, feel free to type more. Feel free to reach out to me later on our community, because a lot of those things will be explored in our VIP sessions. Those of you that are part of VIP, I want to be able to give you those things as they come. And that's what I love about the VIP, because I customize it by our group as we do our bi-weekly calls. So that's why I'm excited about those of you who want to get into this space, that you really want to get into it and learn to do it the right way. So this is your next step. If this is your space and this is your niche, then I want to just encourage you, don't overthink it. Don't think in scarcity. Just start. Do small conversations. You can even get with, like I said, do a few phone calls. They're looking for help right now. Find out how you can help and start a conversation. Maybe even find out what is your immediate need that you have right now that I might be able to help. Sometimes just asking, how can I help, will open the door tremendously for you. And I will say, I've been doing this work in not working with youth, but just in the space of transitional housing and meeting the needs of individuals. I came into that space just from a space of how can I help? Not what can you do for me? Not I have this house I need you to fill. Don't come from there. Come from a space of how can I help? And then people will welcome you because they need help, especially now they need help. So I want you to get into the space where you just don't overthink this and get out here and share, open your mouth, speak to people, because that you sharing your mission, what your heart is really on. And that's why I said, make sure this is what your heart is, because there's going to come a time when it's going to get tough. And what you're going to do? You're going to back down? See, when this is your passion, you ain't backing down. You don't care what hits you. You know that's what God called you to do. You'll go through the toughest of the toughest when that happens. So those are the type of things that I want you thinking about. And this week, I want you taking that step. And even if, and I'll just say this too, even if this is not your niche, and let's say there's somebody in here, this is theirs, and you're maybe in a community where this happened, what does it hurt for you to find something out that you could potentially share with somebody that's in this niche? We are here to help each other. And that's what I'm creating in our community, is we help each other. We're here to lift each other up if there's an opportunity, because when you pay it forward like that, guess what? It comes back to you 100-fold. You might not be ready yet with your programming, or you might be on hold for a little bit. Okay, how can you help Quatez, or how can you help Marsha, or how can you help Sade? How can you help other people who are in this space? So that's why I said, open your mouth. Say what you might need help in. That's what this community is for. We want to be able to help lift each other up. So think about what step you're going to take this week as it relates to if this is your niche, what you're going to do. And if it's not your niche and you got your own, what you're going to do there. Or if you really don't know and you just want to help, who would you help in this group? I want to challenge you to pay it forward to somebody in this group. That's what I challenge you to do today. Now, this also is your homework. I love giving homework, especially if you're in our community, because it's all about, and I'll just say this, we learn so much from each other. We really do. And I love what we're creating in, yay, thank you. I really want us helping each other. So I want you to think about one thing out of what you heard today, just one thing that resonated with you in this training, just one thing. And when I post, because you can either post it because I think we talked about it, so you could post it there, or you could post it in the replay. Now, I'm just going to tell you, this is going to stop very soon, but I just want you to post it either in the replay or post it on talking about the spotlight. Just something you got from the training today, what resonated with you. And then I want you to put that as your biggest takeaway in the school community. If you can do that, for those who couldn't attend, or if it's in the replay, something you got from it, someone might be able to chime off something else you're saying. But that's what I want you thinking about and doing. Because now we're getting ready to shift a little bit. I got 11 minutes, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this, but I want to talk about the importance of coaching in the community. See, I need you to understand you cannot do this alone. If you think you can, I'm telling you now you can't. You will fail. It won't go as high as God wants you to go. God expects us to work together. He said, where 2 or 3 come together in his name, he can do all things. We represent that community right here. So you are not alone. You've got me as your coach, your mentor. I've got leaders in our community that have stepped up. They coaches too. All of you are on here are coaches in training. Understand that. Especially if you're my VIP, you're automatically a coach in training, because there's more stuff that I'm going to be building on with those people who are part of my VIP. Trust and believe the process. God has already showed me the vision of where we're going. But you need to understand that we are the ones who help you get to where you need to go. And in our community, we multiply our impact. So I need you to understand how important that is. And this is how you also can stay laser focused on where you want to go. So as we move through that place, I want you to understand my job is to help you identify the blind spots that you don't see in what you're trying to build. So that's why it's so important to have somebody coach you and move you down this path. Now, you could try, like I said, to do it on your own. You're welcome to try. I'm not against people trial and error, but we act like we got forever with the things that God has given us to do when we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. And if you have the opportunity to get a coach that's going to show you how to do this work the right way, what better time than the present? Now, I understand finances is always an issue for people, but I'm not like stressing over when you do it. It's just that you do it, because I'm more concerned about you moving in your purpose and what God is calling you to do than anything else. So that is what I want you hearing. That is where I want you moving, because the youth are ready now. This right now is happening now. Figure out the part that you can play right now. And if you're ready to move into this space now, and you're ready to answer the call as it relates to the youth, this is the time to do it. And I want to guide you through that. Now, I'm briefly going to talk about the VIP just because that door is going to close very shortly. I've got already people lined up. I'm excited. I really said I'm not going to take more than 10 right here at this number, because I'm committed to those 10 to get you where you need to be, so that you can then be a part of what God is building with this VIP and the leadership that we're creating. As we build that, and with that, you get, and I'm just going to say this too, the VIP is even changing. Like right now, the VIP, you get 2 one-on-one coaching calls with me. You automatically get the 5-day challenge. You automatically get the 8 steps to show you how to launch a program. You get a cohort that we did about a year ago. You get the bi-weekly calls. You get a private community, not the one you're in right now, a private one where we get to give more, and you get all the replays, and you get 12 months of coaching and templates. I'm not going to do that after these 10. So I'm just telling you right now, after the 10, everything is going to shift. Why? Because I'm looking for leaders right now. I'm looking for my top leaders who want to be a part of that. And I've discounted my VIP by $2,000 so that I can get those leaders. So not to press that anymore, but those are the ones I'm looking for who want to move forward and be a part of leadership so that we can grow this the way that God intends for us to grow it. So the offer stands until I get my 10. And once I get my 10, which we're very close, I will be closing it down, and it'll be all about that, working with that group, and then the VIP will be what the VIP will be, because I want to create something that's amazing that we can build with. So now I want to look and see if there's any questions, and then I'm going to go over what I said to stay on for, because I've got a few announcements I want to make. So yes, definitely healing, filling the gaps where many foster care programs simply house. Yes. Woo, y'all, and like, as y'all hang out with me more, you're going to see those of you who were on the last 5-day challenge, you heard my vision of what God is building, and it is enormous, and it involves youth. So I already know I'm in the right place, right time for working specifically with that. So those of you who may join VIP and this is your niche, I'm going to tell you your needs will definitely be met in VIP, because that's what I'll be talking about a lot as the group leads it. So now I've got 6 minutes. Biggest thing that resonates with me is your speech. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. And I'm glad to see that people have comments with you understood what I said about the mentorship. Okay. So let me go through these because I want to get this done at 6:54. So those of you VIP, if you are interested in VIP, I want to implore you to join when you can. If you can do it now, just reach out to me privately. I didn't show a link or nothing like that. You just know how to reach me on school privately. You don't have to do it openly. Just hit me up, Toni. I want to be a part of your VIP, because that door will be closing soon, because we're going to do our first VIP group coaching call is June 19th. I'm so excited. I had to delay things because things are happening really fast in this group, and VIP is going to be fully launched. I've got people who signed up. We've been waiting for the date. June 19th, unless we choose a different date, that's a Thursday from 6 to 7:30. We'll be doing VIP. Now, those who have already signed up for our 5-day challenge, that starts next Monday, 9th through the 13th. Now, I'm just going to say as an announcement, we typically do the 5-day challenge for to help you create your blueprint. This will be the last one that's going to be 5 days. After that, it'll be 3 days. I think I can take everything. I'm going to do one more. I think we can do it all in 3 days. That way, it's not so long, so that we can get that moving forward. Yes, I hear you, girl. Yep, good to go. I hear you. So June 9th is going to be our 5-day challenge. And those of you who signed up for that already, you can go to the classroom and sign up for that. It's not staying where it's at either. I think we keep progressively going up, because to have a blueprint already exactly what you need for where you're going is critical. So most people can't afford to do the VIP, so they do the 5-day challenge and they might get the steps. But June 9th is going to be we're going to start those next week. I'm trying to figure out how, because I do want to, I hate missing our spotlights, but we're probably going to have to miss the spotlight next week. And then I will be having a webinar on Saturday. Now, if you already attended the webinar, it's the same one. You don't have to attend that one again. It's avoiding I think it's the 11 costly mistakes that transitional housing providers make in transitional housing. That's what it is going to be on Saturday. So look for that. I'll be putting that in our school community. And also, last but not least, I'm going to be changing. It's changing as we speak. I think June 19th, our free site is going to be free. It'll stay free. We're not going to convert it to a paid site, but I'll have a private site just for my VIP. And we'll talk more in details. It's going to be a small group of us, but I'll love it because it's all of us who are really talking anyway. And those of you who want to be a part of that paid community, you can like at the lowest $97 a month, you could be a part of the paid community. So if you're not really ready, you want to do more than the free, but we'll do a little more in that paid community. You get more than what you get on the free, but I'll probably be extending everyone the opportunity to have that. Now, if you're already in VIP, you get that for 12 months automatic. So those are my key announcements that I had. And then I will be doing a poll or two because I'm really wanting to meet when people want to meet. On Tuesdays are the best days for this, but I might change all of it. And I don't want to do weekends. I don't know if y'all notice, I really try not to go on the weekends, but you'll see I'll still put stuff out. I want you resting as God wants you resting too. So I don't want to be that one that's always on all the time, but I really just love how you guys engage in this community. This is how we're going to grow in this work. So I just want to encourage you to continue working, continue pushing, continue encouraging each other, and continue growing and holding yourself accountable to what God has called you to do. And that is going to be our session for tonight. I have no other questions in the group. So thank you guys so much. And this will be probably the last replay. Well, I'll probably do one more for the week of June 19th, and that's it. Everything will have to be done in the paid community going forward. You'll get all the recordings in the paid community. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you at the next one, and get out there and just change the world. Talk to you soon.